What up, my people? It's been quite some time since we did this, but we are back again, and this time better than we were before we left. So this is a breakdown video of what you're seeing. This has been my church setup for the past, I think, 2 weeks or so. Yeah, and it looks like normal from the outside, but today I really want to get into the technicalities of what's going on and just show you how everything is working. All right, so without wasting any much of your time, this is going to be a very long video, so I'll really try to break it down into sections so it's easier for you guys to watch. So yeah, first of all, I have my keyboard, my montage. So this keyboard is working as, I think, let me start by breaking down just what I have. So I have my 2015 MacBook Pro, which I use. I have a montage, Behringer P2, that's for my ears. I have a PlayAudio hidden right here. It's like it's there. I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's there. Then I have a Motif, Motif 6. I always confuse this keyboard with the ES6. So yeah, I have a Motif 6 down here, and the brains of the entire operation. You know me, I'm a Midi guy, so this is like, yeah. So I have a Midi keyboard here. That's my Novation Impulse 61 version, 61 key version. Yeah, so what's going on exactly? So this keyboard is working as it is. There's not much going on here apart from it just being my main keyboard. So it's not connected to anything apart from the sound going out. It's not connected to any other thing. And then I'll try to move around because I'm going to be moving around. So I'll just try to pick up the mic as I'm talking. And then over here, I have my Novation Impulse 61 and then the Motif 6. So now these keyboards, like right now, these keyboards are working independently. There's no physical connection between them. By the way, this Motif is not even connected right now. But what I did last week was something a bit different. So yeah, let me just check on something right here. Okay. So what I did last week was something a bit different. So I'm going to reference that video or that breakdown to, rather that setup to what I had last week and what I had planned when I was planning this particular setup. So these two keyboards are connected via MIDI cable. So I have a MIDI out coming from the Novation, coming into the MIDI in port on the Motif. Yeah, and then from the Motif I have the output going out into the MOTU. Down here I have a MOTU interface. Yeah, I have a MOTU interface down there. And then because this is this keyboard is running software related, so that's VSTs. It's running on main stage, but because of the sake of this video, I'm running a lot of things on my computer right now. So I'm doing a screen recording, and so yeah, for the sake of that, to break down on CPU, I'm using Logic, so you can see just how much it's lagging. Yeah, so for the sake of CPU, I'm just using Logic for this video. So this keyboard is running sounds from main stage on the computer, and so I have a physical output from the PlayAudio. The PlayAudio is sending signal out on channel 5 and 6. So channel 5 and 6 is this guy here, the Impulse. So 5 and 6 is going out into the MOTU down there. So these keyboards are connected as one into the MOTU, and then the MOTU is taking to the stage box. So we didn't have enough channels on the stage box for this setup to really work. But outputs on the MOTU taking to the stage box, and then stage box to the front of house, or to the mixer rather. All right, so coming down to this section here, as I mentioned before, this is running sounds in Logic, Logic main stage. And then down here I have a volume pedal for my organs and other sounds. Okay, and the keyboard is being powered by the PlayAudio. It has a USB port on the front, and then from the front as well, I have the MIDI cable coming from that all the way down to my computer. So I have like an extension cable running behind me and coming into that. Yeah, so this is working as a controller in Ableton. I really don't have to look at what I'm doing. Like, it's right there. It's right there. So I basically just have to make sure I'm on the right loop, and then
fire that. So this is what I'm doing with the keyboard.
Okay, so that's the sounds that I have from the Logic. Sorry, there's a lot of things going on, so I'm pretty much like I'm just trying to like find my way around it.
And then I also have arpeggios. So
okay, so that's how the keyboard is working. So I'm using it as a sound as a controller and as a keyboard. And then I mentioned at the beginning about having I mentioned about having a MIDI cable connecting these two keyboards. So this keyboard has some dead keys on it. So what I do is from this MIDI out into the MIDI in of this, and then I'm playing those sounds. Like I'm just playing the keys on here, and then that's being played on this keyboard. So that keyboard is going out to the MOTU, and then MOTU into the stage box, and then out to the house. So these two are working as one keyboard. So how do I switch between what I'm playing? Like, what do I switch between different sounds? So apart from having the volume pedal here, so this is also controlling the master volume in main stage. So if I take it all the way down, I don't have signal coming. Rather, I have signal coming into like when I'm playing. It's also playing in main stage, but then there's no sound coming out of this. Apart from that, this keyboard has two banks here, so I can select between mixer mode and MIDI. So when I have it on MIDI mode, I can now use those sounds. Like I can now use those faders to work in main stage without affecting what's going on in Ableton. So right now I have it on MIDI mode, and so I'm moving that fader, and then you should be looking at channel 1. There's nothing going on that, right? But when I put it on mixer mode, so now that will now make it work to control in Ableton. So that's just what's going on here. So MIDI mode works in Logic or main stage, and then mixer mode is working in Ableton. So this is making me not play, like, to make changes in volume in main stage without it affecting what's going on in Ableton. Yeah, so that's how things are working here. So we're gonna go into the computer, and then I'm gonna show you how everything is wired and how everything is working from a bird's eye view. All right. Okay, so this is what everything looks like from a bird's eye view. It looks complicated from afar, but trust me, it's very easy. All right, so without wasting any much of your time, again, as usual, let's jump right into it. So what exactly is going on? I have, so I'm just going to start by, again, running through the setup, right? So Montage, P16, my phone right there. My laptop, my PlayAudio, that's the front, and then that's the back, and then that's the MOTU interface. That's a MOTU Ultralite MK3 hybrid. It's quite a hybrid because it uses both FireWire and USB, right? And then my Motif, Motif 6, and then my MIDI controller. That's an Impulse, Novation Impulse 61. And then up here, just the stage box and the Midas M32 mixer, right? So this is how the whole keys section is wired up. Okay, so I had to design this because when I was planning this, I really thought about how I was going to implement this and just really try and make sure it worked according to how I wanted it to work. So yeah, let's now start getting into it. So we're gonna start by going down to the PlayAudio. So this is the PlayAudio 12. It's a very, very, very powerful audio interface. It's tiny, but trust me, it really has a lot to offer. Yeah, so 10 channels on the back, and then headphone acts as its own stereo out, and then it has 2 more internal outputs. That's for the failover
thing. So basically, I have two USB inputs on the front. That's for redundancy. So what that means is I can connect two computers to run together, and then let's say in Ableton or anything rather that I'm doing, I can connect two computers, but it's mostly done in Ableton for like live performances. So two computers go into the same interface, and then you hit play on one, it starts on the other as well. And then in an event where your main computer crashes, it's like switches itself, and then it jumps to the second computer, and then while you're working on the problem on the first computer, B computer works to play the tracks, and then when you're done, you can just switch back. And all this is done in milliseconds. You can't even hear the difference that something has happened. All right, so a bit of a small lesson, crash course on the PlayAudio 12. Yeah. So that's the front, that's the back. So we're gonna focus more on the back for now, because I mentioned I was running tracks. So this is what I'm using to run my tracks. That's the PlayAudio 12. So on the back, I have 1, 2, 3. That's my stereo 1, 2 for my tracks, and then 3 for my click and guide. And then 5 and 6, that's for Logic, main stage. So I'm referring to Logic and main stage as one thing. Yeah. So just think of it. So whenever I say Logic main stage, I mean the same thing. So just don't be confused. But I'm only running main stage. But in the video, because I was recording stuff while doing all those things, I had to use Logic because it's less. I had less things running in Logic than I did in main stage. So CPU wise and stuff like that. All right. So when I mentioned Logic main stage, I just basically mean the same thing. Yeah. So my computer is what's the Logic and main stage. That's what's coming out of channel 5 and 6, and then that goes out to my MOTU. Okay, so coming to the MOTU, so I've covered tracks 1 and 2 stereo out, so 3 click. I'm missing 4, rather I'm skipping 4 deliberately. That's because I have all my outputs as stereo pairs. So 1 and 2 is a stereo, 3, 4 stereo. But in Ableton, I selected for my click and guide, I selected that to come out as a mono channel. But in like the internals of the PlayAudio, I had it set to all coming out as stereo pairs. So that's why I skipped 4 and then jumped to 5 and 6. So 5 and 6, Logic and main stage going out. And then this interface now, that's my MOTU MK3, MOTU Ultralite MK3. Yeah. This is now only being used for direct monitoring. So this is not working in... Oh, I must mention before I move on to the MOTU. Both Ableton and Logic / main stage are using this guy, the PlayAudio. Okay? So you're asking, hey, how would you use both DAWs to use one interface? Is that advisable? Or if you can use it. But it's not it's not advisable. It's not advisable. You'd rather have a computer running tracks on its own and the computer running sounds on its own. But because, yeah. So both Logic and Ableton are using this PlayAudio, and then in Ableton I have my output set to 1, 2, and 3. So 1, 2, and 3 are working in Ableton, and then 5 and 6 is what I have set in Logic and main stage. So these channels are not affecting each other at all. So Logic is using 5, 6 on its own, and then 1, 2, 3 is being used by Ableton. So whatever I play on this guy, the Impulse, that's coming out of 5 and 6, right? And then whatever I play on Ableton is coming out on 1 and 2. Yeah, so that's just about routing. So another thing I must mention about routing is, one thing I've come to understand about routing is just get your inputs and your outputs correct. Once you have those things sorted out, guys, you can do... Trust me, what you can do with that is crazy. So just really, really, really master your inputs and your outputs. That's everything that has to do with routing. Just know what is going and where it's supposed to come out. And then once you have that sorted out, you're set. Yeah. And so these guys, 5, 6, are coming into the back of the MOTU. So the MOTU has this mic / instrument input on the front as well. But because of the purposes of this video, I didn't want to show the front because it would be too much. So I'm just using it as reference, just to make to mention that everything, or rather this section of my setup, these guys, they're both coming into the MOTU. And then the MOTU, although I'm connecting it to the computer, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I should have put this cable going to the computer, because I don't think it's doing anything. So this guy is only working as a direct monitoring out, like a direct monitoring. So whatever comes in is going out the way it's coming in. So I'm not sure if that's gonna work with or without this USB, but I just added it there because obviously I thought that's how it works, but I haven't yet tried that, so who knows. Yeah, so both of these are coming into the MOTU, into the MOTU, and then the MOTU is just a direct out. So there's nothing. It's not going. The signals from these keyboards isn't passing through any of my DAWs. It's not even going to the computer. Nothing. Everything is being processed internally here, and then it goes out the same way it came in. So, yeah, that's the Novation and the Motif, both coming into the MOTU, and then on the outputs, main outputs, that's where both of the keyboards are going out, and then those go all the way to the stage box here, and then out to the front of house, or rather the mixer and then front of house. Yeah. Okay, so I hope I've made this part clear. If you have any more questions, if you have any questions, just DM me, just drop them right below, and I will answer them soonest. So I don't want to leave anyone behind, so I'm trying to move slow and explain everything in detail. Okay, so coming to the front of this guy. Yeah, so coming to the front of this guy. By the way, this keyboard, the Novation, is being powered by the PlayAudio. So it has a USB port on the front, and then that's what's being powered. So that's what's powering the MIDI keyboard. Yeah, and then this signal cable is going into the computer. So that's what's communicating between the PlayAudio and the computer itself. Yeah, and then what else? I also mentioned that I had the Midi. So the Midi is a master to this guy here, to the Motif. So this is what I have, and I have Midi out coming out of the Novation Impulse. That's going into the Midi in port of the Motif. So basically, what I play on the Impulse is also being played on. So it's like me playing keys or notes on the Midi, but then the sound that's coming out is from the Motif. So don't get confused. I know if there's some people who are like hearing these things for the first time, it's a bit confusing. I was confused when I was learning about this, but yeah. So through this cable, I can send MIDI data to this guy, and then I can play this keyboard through playing another keyboard. Yeah, I hope I've explained that in a way that you understand. Yeah, so that's how this connection is working. This MIDI connection is working. So all my red cables here, all those are my power cables. So that's for, in case you're wondering why I have so many colors. Yeah, so even just for me to follow up what I'm doing, and just so I don't get confused. So all my cables are my power cables, and then the yellow cables are going to they're sending signal out from a keyboard or device going to the stage box in front of house. And then these pink ones is these guys. Yeah, so I'm sure you're following. And then the blue are my signal cables. That's the power. That's the signal cable, the USB cables, right? Okay, so there's not much going on. I had a volume pedal here. I just didn't include it in this illustration, but I also have a volume pedal right there, and then sustain pedal, main keyboard, and then this guy sending stereo out. So stereo out 1 and 2, and then going to stage box and then front of house. So I mentioned on this keyboard, there's nothing that I'm doing on this keyboard. It's just me like playing. So it's not connected to anything. You can see it's not connected to the laptop. It's not connected via MIDI to any other device. There's no connection apart from the sustain pedal and the signal cables going out to the stage box. All right, I think I've answered everything. So just to run you through again what we just talked about. So 1, 2 is my stereo out for my tracks, and then 3 is my click and guide. I mentioned why I've left out 4, and then 5 and 6 is going out from the back of the PlayAudio, going into the input of the of the MOTU, and then this guy as well, the Motif, is also going into the MOTU, and then because of the direct monitoring, all these are just going out the way that they're coming in, out through the main outs, and then that goes all the way to the stage box, right there. Stage box sends to the front to the Midas, and then that's how everything is wired. So I think I've explained everything. I don't think I've left anything out. Yeah, I don't think I've left anything out. So this is how this is what I was doing. This is what I was trying to achieve when I was planning or designing this setup. So it's not really, as you've seen now, like, it's not really a complicated thing. It's really not complicated. I've seen guys who run stuff on Midi, and like, you have routing and stuff like that. You have Midi data coming out of the computer, changing patches on other devices or instruments. I'm not doing that here, but it's something that's very much doable through Ableton as well. So I'm not gonna get into that in this video, but yeah. So that's what I was trying to do when I was designing this. So of course, it didn't work exactly as it is here in terms of the outputs here, but like the connections and everything else is the same. But then the outputs didn't like work as I expected, because we didn't have enough channels on the stage box. But this is what I was designing. This is what I wanted to achieve with this design, and yeah, I did manage to do that. Just that. So if you have any questions, you're not sure about something, as usual, guys, I'm always here to help out. I really love helping out, and yeah, questions, just drop them right below. I will answer them as soon as I can. Invite your friends to like, share, subscribe to my channel. The more support I get, the more I can do these things. So if you're not supporting, I won't be able to do these things. All right. So I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate your love. And until next time, peace.